Now, my decision on whether to come back was much easier than the decision on which team to join. Being a father with a newborn, I had two questions that made me unsure about what to do. Number one, physically, with all of the other demands in life right now, could I get myself to where I need to be to live up to the expectations of the two teams that want me to play with them? And that question we really won't be able to answer for sure until I make it through the end of another season's grind. But I think I can get there. And then number two was, would my schedule allow me to actually be there, not only play in the series, but play the way that I'm used to? It means being on time, not missing any games, and having my head in the game. I would rather step into a non-player role before I became a part-time player. The game's given me a lot of enjoyment over the years, and my teammates have given me so much enjoyment over the years. The day that I can't give the game and the team I'm playing for everything back in return is the day that I'll walk away. Lucky for you guys who want me back, and unlucky for some of you who don't, that day is not today. I will be back in uniform this March. As for who I'll be playing for, when the whole free agent possibility came up, I was looking forward to it. I thought, this will be fun. Never been a free agent before. Well, it hasn't been. Not with the two captains being as solid as they are, not having played for two of the teams in the past. It's been a lot of back and forth. And I'm happy to put all the deliberating and speculation to an end. In 2024, I'll be rejoining the Sonic as a full-time player. We may still call it wiffleball, but I'm going to call it what it is. The sport is baseball. Me and TJ love all sports, but baseball is a special sport for the both of us. I know it brings back memories of our dads teaching us the game, then playing it as little leaguers, losing it for a while, then finding it back again just by passing time on a summer afternoon before an SCW Rage taping. Not to mention all those weekday afternoons. For my money, there's no player in the league who likes to go out with a glove, a ball, a bat, with no one watching and practice. And that's what I admire most about Thomas Hall as a player. That's what I relate to the most. Because at the end of the day, even with the trophies on the shelf, family, a busy adult life, I'm still that guy. I'm still that kid who was going out there and having that catch by myself, throwing myself up the ball, hitting it 200 feet, then walking to go get it over and over and over. The things some people may see TJ doing and say he's doing so much and they may laugh at, I did all of those things. So when I see that from him, when I see him throwing a baseball at a wall during his work hours in a parking lot, I see myself. And I want to give that kid, that guy, a teammate that has the same dedication that he does. Every season in SCW Sports gets a meaningful tagline, and this year it's all in. And I think what we're trying to say with it is, be all in with us or be all out. We've asked everyone. If you're not all in, please walk away. Don't pull us down with you. No hard feelings. If you are all in, then it's a clean slate for you. Because in the past, we haven't had enough guys who are all in. whether it's being part-time with their schedules or being part-time with their mentalities, which is even worse. Never fully supporting what we're doing, being unable to make a commitment to a few Sundays each year. Players who are so eager to point out the one minor mistake and ignore the 99 other things that we may have done right. Players who always seem to wish we were doing something other than whatever it is we're actually doing. Players who absolutely have to come up with an excuse every time they lose, instead of just shaking the other person or team's hand and giving them the credit they deserve. The 4 captains weren't chosen randomly. We chose 4 captains who have the opposite approach. We chose 4 captains who seem to always be all in. Thomas Hall is one of those captains, and as a player and as a person, he personifies the term all in. This guy wears it on his sleeve and doesn't need to look around at the rest of the room before he decides how he feels about something. And I think he's the perfect person to represent where we're going with the league this year and beyond. We all know that TJ has had a long, sometimes messy history in this league, and I've been a huge part of that history, for better and for worse. You've all watched it unfold, but he's not the same player who made all the mistakes that he did in the past. On and off the field, he's not the same. I think he's back for good now. I think what we saw from his football return is that while he's still going to make some crazy decisions and make his captain want to choke him occasionally, he's on the right path. And I think I'm the perfect person to keep him on that path. I think that we started that path in the spring of 2021 when we buried the rivalry, and that this is just a continuation of that. I think about how this is the only sport we've ever teamed up in. 6 years. 6 years we've been teammates. One time for 2 months. Whether it's more winning or whether it's losing together, I just think there's more unfinished business there. I think comparatively, I have less to offer to Andrew. Now, this decision is not a calculation of the team that I think has the best chance of winning. If it was, I'd probably have chosen the Yetis. One team has a great player and a rookie. The other has a great player and 2023's Player of the Year. Starting equation's pretty simple when you put it that way. At this point in February, the Yetis have a slight edge on paper. My challenge will be to be a difference maker in that equation and try to swing the balance in favor of the Sonic. As far as the Yetis and their captain Andrew, he's been in the league for 3 years, and we've been on championship teams together in all 3 sports. And I think we're both 2 guys currently without a football team, so who knows, we may be teaming up again someday, and I would love for that. I recruited Andrew into the league. I recruited him onto my Red Raiders team. He stepped up and filled some big shoes at a time where we lost some key guys. I took pride in all of his accomplishments so far, and I'll be proud even on the day that he beats me. In 3 years of him wearing the red and black, he glorified and represented those colors and everything I wanted them to represent, as well as any player has. If he never played another game in SCW sports, his legacy is still secure in my eyes. I feel like at least I could say I did return the favor back to him and help his Yetis franchise get off to that championship start last year. And I know he loves this sport similarly to his opponent. And I know he's put in his time to get as good as he has over the years. There's no shame in losing to Andrew Rohrbach. Keep TJ and Andrew in your thoughts, though, because if they're doing it right, they're going to have some sleepless nights the next few months. Because when you're a captain, you're not just worrying about yourself any longer. You're worrying about who's showing up and who isn't. You're worrying about the uniforms. You're worried about the rules. You're worried about the other team. You're worried about the rookies. And also, I'd hope that they are worried about something beyond just their own team's success, but that they'd also be concerned with how the game comes off and how the league is represented. And there's no bigger representatives than the two captains. And then, of course, in SCW Sports, as captain, you also have to play on the field yourself. Something professional coaches don't have to worry about. Captaincy in SCW Sports, it's something everybody wants or thinks they want until they get it. It's something that you only realize all that goes into it once you're in those shoes. Rewarding? Sure, it can be. Fun? Not always. A lot of people have asked to be captains over the years, and I always shake my head. It's because they aren't realizing it's not really a gift that should be awarded to people. It's an honor, sure, but if we wanted to give someone a gift, we'd give them a better gift. Being a captain, having your own SCW sports team, it's not a gift, it's a responsibility. It's a duty that you get handed, not necessarily because you want it, but because you're the best person for the job that we could find. So it's like being drafted into duty. So while the captains are drafting their players, the captains themselves are getting drafted by the league. I can say myself, I've had much more fun in my time not being a captain. Carl Watts and Andrew, the Yetis and the Wolves, they won their first championships last season. And I think what they're going to find, if they haven't already, it's what many teams before them in sports already know. That winning the first one is hard. Winning the second one is much harder. And winning a third is damn near impossible. And it's a position I don't ever want to be in again. Being a captain, the stress, the spotlight, the hate, the glory, all of that are the reasons why you'll never see me as a captain again. Because I don't want it anymore. I don't want that role. I don't need that role. Phase 2, the second half of this thing for me in SCW Sports, it's different goals for me. I'm not repeating the same paths as Phase 1. Because the goals are different from Phase 1. The goal now is to help create the second dynasty of SCW Sports on someone else's team. Regardless of what's happened in the past, I don't think either captain will be missing any games this season. They've already done as good a jobs as any two captains we've ever had, and we haven't even thrown the first pitch yet. I don't think many players will be missing out on this either. This is a series where, if I'm being honest, I don't see a sweep happening on either side, which is a good thing because I don't want to see either team retired, regardless of the team I'm playing for. So to wrap this up, I'm back. I'm playing for the Sonic. And if we go out there and lose to the Yetis, don't chalk this up as me having made the wrong decision. This decision was made not because this team was my prediction to win the championship. I made this decision because I think this is the team that I can make the biggest impact on and help the most. Quite frankly, the one that needs me the most. It's time to get the Sonic franchise back on the track that we had it going on in 2021 before things went off the rails.